that you are having a good one already and that your weekend was great and all the good things. Yes, right, let's get straight to the desk. We are doing a starting point because it's Monday and we've done 3 layouts with the March supplies so far. I've got this one, which was a starting point where we did a strip down the side. And then this one was also a starting point where we did a series of torn pieces across the middle and a little bit of embellishment here. And then we filled in the rest. And this one from Friday, where we took the challenge of taking a very busy pattern paper in the background and putting it with 2 very busy and colorful 4x6 photos in the foreground. And this is what we came up with. So that is what I've done with a March so far. Britt, yes, you are actually live. And we have these supplies remaining. I am intending to stick these 2 photos on today's layout, but it's a starting point, so I could always abandon them. So this was Saturday's Disney Pound, where we are Mickey and Minnie. And then this jump is a particular bit of the show, and he was just singing and then did the jump full out, and I managed to turn around and grab it on camera, and I was like, quick! So I didn't get it quite at the top, but I thought it was still really cute. This is a mural that's just a little bit behind stage door, which is kind of sweet. Right. But today, a starting point, which means I'm going to make the layout up to a certain point. Then you can take it in any which way you want from there, but I'm going to take it in my way so you still get a finished layout today. But we build and then kind of pause for a moment so that you could see different options going forward. Supplies that I have left, I have lots of the chipboard words remaining. I have tags. I have added those letter stickers in. I have this gorgeous floral that I love a lot. Then these are the 49 Market kind of textured solids. And then at the back here, I have these 2, which I'm going to be using this Friday to build a double page. What? I know. I'm going to have to figure out what to put on it. What theme am I going to do this double page with? But that is the plan. Friday, a double page where, and it's not going to be Winnie the Pooh themed. So I will show you how the Winnie the Pooh art is going to get a little layered up with other things. We've also got the wood grains from this month, which I have not done yet. And then the alternate tag paper, which I haven't actually cut into. I don't know if you want to see examples from both or not. Okay, so what I want to do today is a design based on quadrants. I'm going to pop the double page background away so I make sure I don't cut into it accidentally. I'm definitely using this. And let's see what else is in here. Now, on Friday, I gave people a choice if they wanted to use this blue or the very busy paper, and they went with the busy paper. So today we're going to use this one, and that's going to work beautifully with that. Very happy with that. So quadrants. Quadrant design, we just mean that we take the page and we look at the 4 sections of it. We divide it in quarters, like you've put a giant plus sign across there. And that would give you 4 6x6 spaces. And because 6x6 paper pads have long been a thing in this industry, quadrant design was a really popular way to go, oh, I have this 6x6 paper pad. What can I do with it? Well, one of the best things you could do with it would be to choose 4 of them and make a quadrant page. But what I'd like to do as the starting point today is not quite that cut and dry and simple. I don't want just 4 6x6 or 5 3/4 squares. I want to bring it in a little bit. I'm going to be using this side. Bring it in a little bit and then look at how we can add texture and layer over the top of an initial 4 boxes. So that's what I mean by starting with a quadrant idea rather than it is a quadrant page. Yeah. Alrighty, righty-o. So let's take this out of the way. Hello, Kelly. You can always watch the lives out of order. It's absolutely fine. All right, is that nice and square in the shot? Let's get my speech out of the way, and then you don't have to look at my face anymore. Right. Hello, my name's Shimelle. I teach online scrapbooking classes, design scrapbooking products, and help you use them to tell your stories in a creative way. It's not just my hobby, it is my job, and that means anytime I scrapbook on the internet, it's considered advertising, and legally I need to make sure you're aware of that. So thank you for coming to watch my hashtag advertising. I appreciate you being here, whether you are live, chatty, watch from Tomorrowland, craft, don't craft, quiet, all of it. You're all good. You can find the links to everything you need in the description box below the video. Or if you want to sign up for brand new classes, you can go straight to Shimelle.com, and they are listed at the top of the page. It's the first blog post at the moment. So you can sign up for I Love Layers, which has its last bits coming today, and there's lots there already. Or you could sign up for upcoming stuff. Well, the 1-2 punch is current. That's happening right now. And there are videos for 1-2 punch coming this week on Wednesday night and Friday night. Or the using old stash class, which is going to follow the punch class. So it'll be after that. All of that you can find on Shimelle.com. Also, I have a new collection that's going to hit stores soon, but I don't know when. I asked for an update on Friday. I haven't had a response. So when I know more, I will let you know. But it's called Live the Dream. And you can still find 2 collections of mine that are in shops currently. Main Character Energy and Reasons to Smile. And so you can use the shopping links in the description box to get to any of that stuff. I think that's it. Also, I'm teaching at Scrap and Learn. So there's a link to that at the top of Shimelle.com too. Okay, cool. I think that's all the hashtag advertising that I've just listed out. Let's go. You can find all the supplies linked there too. The supplies I'm using this month, the supplies I'm using next month. It's all good. All right. So let's make some quadrants. So what I want to do is start smaller than 6x6. Also handy if you have scraps of paper. Yeah. Sophia says, does 3 officially make a herd of elephants? I'm saying yes. I don't know. And all this time later, and I've still never put an elephant illustration into one of my collections, but I should have done it. Where's my notes here? There we are. So I'm thinking I want to bring them down to more like 4x4. Let me see what that looks like on a ruler, because I'm just kind of making up a measurement. But I think 4x4 is what I want. So 4 would be there. Let's do 4.5 actually. Okay. So we're going to have 4.5. Now I can't get to my ruler. Why do I do this to myself? So 2 in this pattern that are so not square. Sometimes I'm better with scissors, but that's going to be fine. Okay. Roughly 4.5. So we're going to have 2 of those like this. So my quadrants are going to come in, and there's going to be a bigger border around the edge. Make sense? I hope. Oh, Rita, I can't, I have no control over restocks. And right now, nothing is going to get restocked while the company moves from one company to another company. But they all still exist. There is the potential for them to be restocked. And in various other places, you might still find them. They are still in current inventory. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. So, right. Moving on. So then I want 2 other blocks to balance out my quadrants here. And I have this. You think it's Eeyore in a flower. I think it is kind of probably largely inspired by Eeyore's coloring. I designed an Eeyore piece once, and it was, that color scheme is very similar to what I used. Like a gray, a grayy blue, and a pink. Yeah. Oh, George is like, who is moving what? American Crafts was acquired. So they now belong to the company that is basically Notions, which has long been a big-time craft distributor. So things will be moving, warehouses and all of that, and I don't come into that. Yeah, that's like stuff that happens that does not involve designers. Not at all. Okay. So, because I want to make sure that this can be done with scraps, I'm really showing you in a scrappy kind of way. So see, this is not perfect. These are not exactly the same size. It's all going to be fine. Because the art of, the fun of layering things up means that we're going to cover anything that's not perfect. Ergo, it will be perfect. Just going to ink all 4 of these boxes, even though some of the edges like that will be covered up. That's fine. And George said, you just do the fun stuff. That's right. I have no interest in becoming some sort of distributor. I find the odd thing that I do where you have to post stuff is like one of the most stressful parts of the year for me. Yeah, I have always been happy to just be like, okay, here's my vision. Here's what I'm drawing. Here's what I need help with, so that, because I always work with a team of illustrators, so I'm drawing stuff, but so are they. And I could say, okay, but we need this and we need that. And I can come on board and say things like, I want hands in this collection, but I'm rubbish drawing hands. So who's an illustrator who can help me with hands? And then we work like that. Yeah. I'm not good at hands. Know your strengths. Hands are not mine. I have tried to get better, and I continue to try and get better, because there are some things that when I started designing, I was like, nope, I can't draw that. Never going to happen. Nope, not me. And I have learned to draw them over the years. So I'm quite happy with that. I carry on and figure out what you can do. You know, every day is a learning day. You can always get better at things, and there are people out there willing to teach you, and that's great. Yeah. But also, I don't want to put out a product and go, you know what? I can't draw this, and I'm putting it in my collection anyway. The squares are roughly 4.5, but I didn't cut these very well. So I was going for 4.5-inch squares. It's just that this flower especially is not a square. Cool. All right, so we're going to line that up like this. And then what this means, because this one came out not a square, is that it's going to end higher here, but that's going to be fine. I am, however, wanting the nicest, squarest edge to be down at the bottom, because it's harder to cover there. So you might have all 4 be exact squares because you pay more attention and you're far more careful than me, and that's fine. But this is what I mean by we're starting with a quadrant, but we're going to move on from there. Okay. Then we have some tags. So we're going to layer in some tags, and are there any of these that I want this side? Be nice to bring in some red. The sentiment doesn't work with the story I'm telling, but I can cover that. And I like the idea of bringing in red, because there is red in this floral. So you have the potential to make it a lovely accent, but it might not be the color that you first expect because it's on a pink background. And WB actually came home from school last week with a question about, how do we make pink? Pink is red with white, right? I'm like, yeah. He says, so that makes it like shades and tints. That makes it not its own color. That makes it a shade and tint of red. Yeah, you're on the right track. Yes. Because they'd had an art challenge at school where they had to create a piece of art that was entirely in one color, and they had to use the color of their house. Because for those of you who watch from abroad, houses are not a Harry Potter thing, they're a very British thing. So he does indeed have a house in his school, and his house color is red. And one of his friends who's also in Red House did their piece of art, and it sort of was this sort of scenario where if this was a brighter red, that the lighter shade ended up pink. And another classmate said, no, you've cheated because you've used red and pink. But the classmate was from Blue House and had used all different shades of blue, similarly to this. And he came home, WB was like, I need to adjudicate. I need to know which classmate I'm supposed to side with here, but I think I'm on the side of pink is a shade of red and it should be allowed. I'm like, well, in my world, yes. But I can see how sometimes we get so used to the idea that red and pink are different colors that we forget that pink is to red what baby blue is to royal blue. And there we go. It's hot pink that is the hard one. If you're just using paler pinks, you're all good because that's red, add white. But if you get into like magentas and fuchsias, then you've added more than just white. So that would be different, in my humble opinion. But pale pink, no problem. And you could test it by just doing it with paint. If you're using red paint and you add some white, then you're good. Oh, Anna just got a bunch of main character energy and she's sure she has enough for a lifetime. Amazing. Thank you to those of you who have, I know the whole Joanne's closing thing is a bit, it's not the most positive news for American crafters, but thank you for those of you who went and bought some of my stuff from what remained. Hopefully then it doesn't get returned. Yeah, sailor return is a scary concept. I'd much rather, much rather, every time, I would much rather my stash be in your hands where you can put it in your album than go to a landfill. I did not get into this part of the business in order to make stuff that gets thrown away. I really don't want that to happen. So, yeah. All right. Where are we going next? So what I want to do is take one of these quadrants, but I think I need something in between these to separate the two bits of red plaid. So actually, let's go with one more. Do we bring that pink straight in? Or the navy? I'm kind of liking the navy. Let's do the navy. Now, I am, however, a little conscious that you put red and blue together and you kind of get patriotic feel for any number of countries. American flag, British flag, French flag. So, I have all three of those flags in my album. There are more that are also red, white, and blue. So I do want to add some embellishment around them to widen the color scheme from just red and blue. I'm not intending for it to be a red, white, and blue kind of layout, but there just happens to be red and blue in it. So if we do this, then I think we need to bring in some other color. It'd be great if I've got some of that yellow to bring in. But we could bring the others in if we need to. That's easier. Sophia likes that the squares aren't actually square because it means it's already a little off kilter and gives more options to be creative and shows that you can use whatever scraps you have even if they aren't square. Definitely. Can definitely mix them around. Right. Georgia says, it's a Winnie the Pooh patriarchy layout. Or is it just, I don't know, patriarchy or patriotism? Is it a patriotic Winnie the Pooh? He's like, I love the 100-acre wood. Well, yeah, if we took out the blue, then we have the Canadian flag, red and white. Just those pieces. So let's bring in some yellow. That's what I'm saying. We need yellow. Okay. Now, of course, there are more yellow tags, but it'd be nice to do some stuff that's not just tags. So why don't we have a look at all the die cuts? Because there are many. That's a very bright yellow. This, however, could work softer. Okay. Pink's a little too off. This actually, it's annoying. The color, like the orange and the purple, no. But I feel like these might be cute with the mural. No. Not today. Don't worry, there is a live stream on the schedule that's all about using up a bunch of these die cuts. That one can work as well. Rita still has plenty. Joanne still has plenty. She's going to go back for the 5th time and grab some more. Then you could just, just have a little shop. Once they're done, you can open up. That's too funny. What do we have in here that can work? We got a lot of random bits to think about in this die cut pack, but we're not thinking about them today. Right. Cloud might work, especially since we have Eeyore flowers. Okay. That red flower might work. Nope. Oh, I've been trying to find a place to use these. Let's see. Rita the retailer. Oh my. Oh, that yellow works. Okay, that helps. That helps. That'll work. I need to figure out what I'm going to use this because it's a lovely die cut and I think really can lean into a beautiful bit of journaling, but I'm not sure what I'm going to get with it. So how you make others feel about themselves says a lot about you. I definitely want to use it, but I need to think and get the right thing. Use that one, I think. Oh, Carrie's store never got designer destination. Yeah, a lot of stores didn't. It was just some stores. Yellow there. Okay. Oh, more clouds, just one is vellum and the others are paper. Okay. Let's try all that. Georgia has a bazillion die cuts from Vicky Collections and she needs to use them. So what you're saying is you want not just use your stash, use what you buy the die cut edition. You want the Vicky die cut edition. All right. Now. So I want to be able to write on this one. So let's overlap these. And then that can go on top of there to put something else inside. Okay. How do we get the giant budgie on a page? Yes. Big honkin' die cuts, the Vicky edition. Okay, so that's going to go in there, but we need something inside it first. What will that be? It could be which of these little... What about the gray that I cut into the other day? This one. That's a bit too wide. Okay. All right, so now I've got that scenario. And I can put that together like this. Maybe the one for writing moves to a different spot. Yep, okay, so I'm gonna pop this up with Poppios. Now, you could use that little box there that kind of feels like a text box as journaling space. And put, you know, a sentiment like this in there. But I'd rather leave that open for a little bit of handwriting or a phrase sticker or something like that and bring this up here so that you get this organic shape in the box. Okay. Now, clouds, because why not? If we're going to focus on using the Vicky die cuts, the clouds are going to come into play. So this one's vellum, so I'm just going to put adhesive under this corner and then stick something over the top of it so you can't see the adhesive. Then we can bring these into. Now, of course, you could just not ink the clouds. That would probably be sensible, but I am. Oh, and his store said they're still going to get more in. Probably moving inventory around from the stores that just instantly closed, I'm guessing. So if you have, I'm guessing lots of things must come into play, like how long the leases are on all the different buildings. So if they have a building where they can close the lease like now, might as well do that and not be paying the extra rent and move your stuff to the shops that you can't close instantly. I'm totally guessing here. I don't know. I could be really wrong. Like that. Did you think it was going to need to go over here? Because then you have 3 clouds in a diagonal line, and that's kind of weird. So put them in a little cluster instead, because we know that that is not weird. Clouds in a cluster all the time. Totally normal. And if you didn't have something else that was popped, or maybe even if you did, you could pop one of the clouds up too. But that's where I'm going with that. That's too much of the yellow altogether, so we will leave that off there. But this is a nice place for that. And see, the white box behind is taller, so this can show that that little frame exists. Thank you for everybody who's out there making sure paper gets used. You're amazing. Shall we do this? Yeah. Yeah? And now, nobody but us knows that that wood grain square is not a square, because that little edge is all gone. Now, if you're not liking these little curly cues as an element there, just don't do it. It's fine. Now, yeah, I am liking that bundled right in there. So there we go. Then we're going to come down on this diagonal here. And I want something that I can write on. But I also really like this yellow frame. But it does not have enough contrast to go on top of that wood grain. It's almost identical in color value. So instead, we're going to just leave this on its own. Bring it over to the edge. Make sure it's offset just a little bit. Then this is going to go on this left-hand side. Like that. That's too big. It's muddy if I put it over the blue. Could put it there, actually. That looks really nice. Need a stapler because I've got no way to hide any adhesive, so it's not going anywhere now. Okay, so this is going to be my starting point. So we shall right. Earthquake moment. Oh. Yeah, got it now. Okay. Let's put some pictures on it. Boop. Boop. Bang. And snap. So here's the interesting point about starting points is that I don't like fake them. I don't go away and make the layout and then show it to you, because my live streams are me scrapping with you. So that means I come across the roadblocks just like we would at a crop. which means I now have to figure out where do the photos fit. I made something that's aesthetically pleasing with no photos, but I got to put the photos in. So we're going to see where they go, because the thing is with the starting point, you got lots of options. So for example, I have this one that I haven't scrapped yet. If I made this, but I wanted a single 4x6, it could work really well here, and I'd move the journaling box. Landscape 4x6 could work great across here. 3 3x4s could go here, here, and here. Yeah, so we got options. 2 3x4s could be diagonal here. I think I like them better together though. Okay, I'm going to put them on something. Gray. Chaos like the rest of us. Hi, Corey. Thank you for the photos, Corey. I hadn't said I sent you a message back yet. Thank you very much for those. That was lovely. I hope your journeys have all been fabulous now and you're okay. Oh, will it fit nicely this way? Might be better that way. Oh, Carrie went to a crafty garage sale and found some old stuff that's bringing her joy. There are still some old brands that I would totally pick up like that. Plus, my friend sent me one of those discussions on the internet of like, why are people being so weird? And it was somebody had sold, they'd sold a tea towel on Vinted. So they've sold a tea towel secondhand that they received and then didn't particularly like. The designer of the tea towel contacted them to say, how dare you sell this rather than enjoy your gift? And the friend who sent it to me, I had to send it back and say, the funny thing is that I have a saved search on Vinted for my own products, because there's a few of my own products that I didn't ever get very many of, and I use them all up. And so if I see them, I'll buy them. And she thought that was very funny that I wasn't doing what the tea towel designer did, who clearly also has her own products in a safe search, but is going to get anybody who was selling it on. No, if you're not going to use it, sell it and let somebody who is going to use it find it. I'm totally game. You have absolutely my permission to set things free. If you bought them and then you're like, nope, I'm not going to use it, set it free. Okay, like that. I think yes. So this bit of the choreography, he's actually not doing his choreography. He's doing the adult choreography, the trains. And there's a line in light at the end of the tunnel, which everybody always giggles about when they read the lyrics and go, what? Those are the real lyrics? So it goes, when the angel Gabriel blows his magic toot. When they sing toot, they all jump like this on roller skates. And so that's what he was doing before we went in for the day. But that at one point in time, trivia, it's in the program. Starlight Express, the working title was The Magic Toot. I'm glad they went with Starlight Express. It's a far superior name. I'm not sure where they were thinking that sounded marketable. It does not. It sounds like a tiny kid's playground game. Although maybe I'm onto something there sometimes. Starlight Express is a little bit of a tiny kid's playground game. Right. This now, in trying to add other colors and not have so much red, there's not enough red, so I'm going to add in thread. Corey's girls have been singing and laughing about those lyrics for a week. Yep. It is a wild ride of a musical. I saw Corey and her family at the interval, and I was like, what do you think? Like, this story is bonkers. And then when I left, I'm like, well, enjoy the second act. It does not get any more sensible. Nope. You just got to go with the make-believe, because there's nothing that's going to make sense. Just got to let it go and let it wash, and then it's fun. Lots of fun. Right. I'm wondering where I put the Winnie the Pooh enamel dots, you know, the set from Echo Park. I have the package here, but not the sheet of dots. What have I done? I know. George is going, #organized. I know. I can hear the Adhesive Avengers disdain as well. Oh, don't do that, Shimelle. Don't knock things off the desk. That would be bad. Okay. The thing was, I thought I had kept them with the die cuts, and I haven't, because I have all the die cuts. You saw me go through them. So that is a bit odd. All right, let's see what color we can find that would be relevant. And then hopefully by Friday, I will have found where my silly self put them. Okay, so we have got yellows, blues, reds, aquas, pinks. There's a lot of colors there. Oh, Michelle says she tends to find that her tags multiply in her stash. So this using 3 on a page, that's good. Oh, Allison said she read that there's a new cast for May. Does that affect WB? It's June, so the cast changes in June, and his contract ends right around the same time. He may go through the cast change, but it's most likely that new children will start with the new adults in the middle of June. It will depend on if the new kids are ready to go on, or if they need a couple weeks overlap from kids who are already in the part. But yeah, at the moment, that is the plan. So, what about these? Three there, and 3 here. Now, I was tempted to go here, but then that takes me into the writing space. If I go into the red at the top here, then a bit better. Okay, so that in the yellow. And there was one other I wanted to add in. There it is. Okay. And then this one is very specific to my layout. Because we're dressed as Minnie and Mickey, I'm going to use it as an opportunity to use some Mickey shape stash. So I'm going to put one with the heart here, and one over here. Yeah. Allison says, maybe you'll get a summer holiday then. It depends on what else happens. So we'll see. Have a week in May where he's been given permission to actually go away, so we can do a go see family kind of holiday rather than a go to a holiday location kind of trip. But that's exciting. Yeah, because kids aren't really afforded that. Adults get a certain amount of holiday in a year's contract. Children don't. If they do a full year, then they have to have 1 week. So the 53rd week, you have to be off, which is why his Les Mis contract went literally 364 days. Because if he went one more day, he'd have to have the week off. So they make it so that the kids come in right after that. Right. So now I've got a place to write. I've got this actually happening as a title. What were my other giant pieces here? Because I could see if anything looks good here. Giant. Oh my goodness. So big. So big! But also, if you didn't want to do these little details, you could put that across the middle. But yeah. Okay. I'm going to have to do like a special live stream of figuring out how to actually use more than just the little bit that I've used. Now this almost works, but where it now runs into these where it has little tiny pieces, it doesn't. Okay. Now I do want, there's a number I want on this. I want a 15, and I think I could put it here in the cloud. I realized that is one of those things like the Mickey heads that is not going to necessarily translate to anything else anybody is scrapbooking. But the March challenge this year was just 15 days of prompts instead of 31. And then he's choosing his own topics for us, his own themes after that. So day 15, this was the last day of the printed challenge. So I just want a 15 on there. And then to make that match, I'm going to use one of the hashtag stickers and bring that in, I think down here, to handwrite that part. So journaling pen. Georgia says children are really worked to the bone for their contracts. They do have certain protections, but they don't get a holiday. Yeah. The holiday would be at the discretion of production. And so production had been kind and said, yep, you can have a week off. And the difference is sometimes you get a week off, but you're still on call. So you couldn't book a holiday. And in fact, when they do residential school trips, so last year, his trip, if you looked at it on the map, was not that far. It was only the next county away. But it was an outdoorsy thing, so it was not anywhere near main modes of transport, not near a railway line, not near a motorway. So travel time was actually really long. And we laughed because when he did that trip, he was in Les Mis. And if they had needed me to get him from when he was there, like he needed to go on, I could have gone and got an actual child off the streets of Paris and brought them to the theater quicker than I could go get him in deepest, darkest Kent and brought him to London because the train to Paris is fast. And so I had to make sure that they really were realizing he's not going to be available to be on call. And they had everything in place so that was fine and he could do that trip. But they don't have to authorize stuff like that. It's up to each production to decide. So far he's been lucky. Both big contracts have allowed him to do his school trips. So that is cool. Okay, so when so that kind of links together here. Journaling here. Do you want me to just journal while I'm live today? I'm going to do that in a smaller pen. So that this is like a subheading. almost done. Oh, there we go. Right, and so that was 15th of the 3rd, 25. Now, let's have some sparkle, shall we? So I haven't actually added anything that has foil, so I've only got the pearlescent, but I still think gold is the way forward here. Oh, and I do have the last of the yellow twine. I can add to those. Add to those tags. I should probably do that before this, huh? Because otherwise I'll make a big mess. Oh, that was unpleasant for my scissors. Thank you. What was that about? Allison, yes, he's very, very happy boy. He comes out absolutely away with the fairies happy usually. Like a mix of super happy and super tired because obviously show is exhausting. Does a lot of running about. So he kind of goes through this phase where he's a little bit out of it. Because he's powered through right at the end when it's time to go to bed if you're that age. If you're young enough to play the part, you're not really old enough to be up that late. But then he usually talks the whole way home. Sometimes dances around the train. Depends on his mood. And depends on if he's on a 2-show day, depends on if he's done standby first or standby second. Because if he's standby second and he's done the afternoon show, then the adrenaline from the end of the show has kind of worn off by the time we go home and he's just super tired. But happy. And the pipe organ, remember last month I scrapbooked about this pipe organ in the train station on the way home? The pipe organ is now a regular stop, and he's practicing his piano pieces on that organ in the middle of the night. So all the people who've been out to pubs far too late or to shows or whatever, as they come through the station, get to listen to a kid who's working on like grade 1 piano. But on a pipe organ. Hello, Debbie. So that's fun. But it's nice to have, we have to wait for the train. So it's nice to have something to do that's not just standing on a cold platform. So thank you to the charity who decided London Bridge needed a pipe organ. And almost every time we get to play it, every once in a while there's somebody who is legitimately playing and we would never interrupt. Even if somebody's just mucking about, we would never interrupt. But often if somebody's mucking about and then he walks up and sits on the bench behind, they will turn around and go, "Oh, do you want to play?" It's like, "Yes, please." But it was just happenstance that the first time he really had the nerve to sit there was the day that I took the picture when somebody was there who could really play and was teaching him what he had learned. And I think, sometimes the universe just puts things in motion, and now WB just goes, "Right, I gotta go practice at the organ and then we'll go home." So however much time there is between when we get to the station and when our train is, that's his practice time. Okay, now gold. Oh, Elaine's back at work. How are you, Elaine? Sorry that the timing wasn't great for you going back to work, but yes, this will certainly be there for you on the replay. Okay, so we do a bunch of gold down this corner, up here, and then what we end up with is this paper that I really love, we get pretty much a whole box of it just on show on its own. And so you can remember that for scraps where you're like, I really like this paper design and I keep not using it because I really want it to show. You could do this design and let it show. That's possible. Okay. There we are. So that's where I'm going to stop today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you have a wonderful week. I will be live again here 10 a.m. on Friday. And then in the middle of the week, Wednesday night, there is a punch video coming your way if you're in that class, and then also Friday night. But next live stream is Friday, 10 a.m. I hope everybody has a good week. If you make something this week, I would love for you to share it on our Facebook group or share it on Instagram and tag me so I can see what you've been making. I hope you have a productive one, and thanks again. If you enjoyed this video and you want to give it a thumbs up, that'd be super duper awesome. Right, that's all. Thank you very much.